this is the most beautiful cemetery in my opinion in LA, and I love it very much. But I have to say that she was talking to him and she's like, you know who's buried here, and talks about everyone who's buried there, Johnny Ramone and all this stuff. And then I got chills, actual goosebumps on my arms, because I was like, oh, he's buried there. He's buried just steps away from where Johnny Ramone is. And he didn't know it. And he had that scene, and it made me go, oh, that's harsh. That's that's real intense.
Wow.
I was like, yep, okay. Welcome to Horror Movie Survival Guide, Disco Citizens, the podcast where gorehounds
And best friends, Terry Gamble,
and Julia Marchesi break down a different horror movie each week,
exploring a multitude of genres, subgenres,
and subgenres,
classic and cult,
international,
and underground flicks alike, determining which films are the goriest,
and offering up Horror Movie Survival Guide tips
to help you stay alive.
Disco Citizens, you are most welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Survival Guide. I am Julia.
And I'm Terry.
This week, we're talking about 2014's Burying the Ex. Title of this episode is Twinkies Don't Expire. Tagline for this movie, some relationships just won't die. This is written by Alan Tressa and is based on a short that they filmed starring John Francis Daly and Danielle Harris, which sounds amazing.
Ooh.
This version is directed by Joe Dante.
Yes.
Yeah, we got back-to-back Dante, which we love.
Yeah.
Crazy thing about this Dante, I'm in it. What?
Disgruntled customer, Julia Marchesi. Oh my God. I'm looking at the IMDb right now. Look at you.
Disgruntled.
Oh,
You know,
that's pretty exciting.
honestly though, like, you know, if you had told me at 5 after I've walked out of Gremlins, like, one day you'll be in one of this guy's movies, I would be like, you're fucking with me. Even at 5, you'd be fucking with me.
I could hear you saying that at 5, honestly, too. That little Julia baby face. Oh my gosh. Incredible. And this is an incredible cast. And this was a little bittersweet. I think it's one of those things that whenever we watch anything with Anton, it's like, oh, what an amazing talent. And to see his sweet little face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. So let us meet our characters. This is Anton Yelchin playing Max, who is in a relationship with Evelyn, who is a beautiful girl, but not maybe the match for him. And he's having a hard time with
And
that.
it's not just any beautiful girl, it's Ashley freaking Greene. It's
Of
Alice from
course.
freaking Twilight playing her, so we love her. But she's not playing an Alice in this one. Well, kind of a little bit. She's very exacting and likes fashion, but in a very different way. She's a green girl. She is a let's save the planet, save the whales, PETA kind of girl. Everything's green, vegan, and they do not seem like they are probably well matched. You were right.
So Travis, who is Max's brother, half brother, as they keep announcing, he comes out in the apartment. He's with two ladies. His brother's naked. He's very excited, but his brother's been using his place for sex. He's like, no, can't do that anymore, man. I got a girl now. Like, it's not gonna like this.
Yeah, she's like, "You gotta get out of here. Evelyn will not approve of this, like, tomfoolery in my house. You and the girls gotta go." But he's not making it easy. He's obfuscating the whole time. He's like, "No, I need to get my breakfast. I need to get some eggs. Why are there no eggs in this house?" He's like, "I told you, my girl is vegan. We don't have eggs in this house." And he, talking about how he needs eggs after he's nutted and whatever. So he's like he's giving a very like Seth Rogen kind of comedy like vibe, like guy here. He's still not wearing any clothes. So it's just the comedy of errors of just like this guy. And I love Anton being like, and Max, this character is just being like, how do you get women? How you seem like the schlubbiest of schlobs. And he's just like, I know, I build relationships with people. I'm a people person. You get like, I was like, oh, he charms the fuck out of him. That's how he does it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, so Evelyn's so hardcore, she even made him get rid of his car because it wasn't a hybrid. So now he rides a scooter, and he rides a scooter to his cute work, which is a horror themed shop called Bloody Mary's, where he is unpackaging first some slutty Halloween costumes, which will come into play, and secondly, a Satan genie with a note on it saying, "Make any wish you desire yours the evil way."
Yeah. And so it's Bloody Mary's boutique, boutique, which is cute, of course. But you also see a little thing on the desk while he's getting ready to unpack and receive those packages that are coming in of new products. You see Max's Scare Shack, and this is Max. And I was like, oh, he has dreams of having his own little business, very similar to what he's working in right now. And so he has to say certain greetings that he's been tasked with, like, when people leave, he has to say, "Go to hell," like, it's part of the character of the shop that Bloody Mary has made him do, and it doesn't always come off as super genuine, and people don't get it as well, so it just comes off really rude, but he's like, "No, like, I have to say these things to people." And the UPS guy gives him crap about it too, he's like, "Man, you gotta say all this crap to people all the time." He's like, "Well, Bloody Mary's very specific, we have to do
Mhm.
it."
And I like that we never meet Bloody Mary. She's just I imagine Mary Warrenoff because it's a Joe Dante movie, but it could be anybody.
Oh, yeah.
So she calls his lady and is like, "Hey, I got some slutty Halloween costumes if you want to come over." So she does, and she puts on the nurse's costume, but then it's not going to go hunky dory right after. Right after, they're going to have a bit of a argument about things.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a moment because she looks up to the lighting in the back room that they've just scrumped in, and she looks up and she's like, "Oh, those are not the proper LED lights. You need to change them to compact, from the compact fluorescence or whatever." And it's like, oh gosh, she's like giving him like, I don't know, eco advice right after they've post coitus. Like I was like, okay,
And then
thank
he's
you.
talking about how, like, she's eventually gonna come to work for him in his store, but she doesn't understand why you wanna pay attention to all this make-believe stuff, like monsters, when actually there's really problems in the world, which is valid, but he says it's about conquering the inner monster. She says that she hasn't felt the same since her mom died, and he brought her back to life, and they promise they will always be together, always and forever.
But
But
they say these words and these promises right next to that genie, the Satan genie that had just come in. And maybe the Satan genie is real. And so they made these promises to each other, but we get a jump to the life of them moving in together, because they had decided to try to make it work. She has redecorated their apartment.
the Romero
Um
and Sons Moving Company, I would like to point out.
I didn't notice that, that's so cute.
Yeah.
But I did notice that it looks like a bad HGTV makeover show from, like, the early aughts that was just, like, the color palette is just, like,
Mhm.
it's green, like, light blue and white. She has a lot of plastic containers that are, like, meant to be, like, I think, like, reusable, stackable things. It just looks bad. It looks like the Container Store, but not cute. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean, though? Like, it looks like, I don't know, one of those, like, Bath& and Body Works or something like that from not Bath& and Body Works, Bed Bath& and Beyond, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a store, like, it doesn't look like a home.
Mhm.
But she's really proud of herself, and she was, like, feeling bad because her mother feeling like, because she was missing her mom, so she's like, "I wanted to redecorate." Um,
But she also took down his very valuable foreign import signed posters from the wall and folded them and put them in a drawer and have now ruined them. When he said those were supposed to be the down payment to the shop that he wanted to make. So that is now gone. So they say, okay, well, they're gonna go out. We're gonna get some so he feels like a malted, wants to get a malted. Let's go get some malted. Go to the punk rock ice cream shop.
but he recommends a multi, but he knows she's vegan, so she's like, I don't eat that stuff, why are we going to a place that I can't even enjoy with you? Like, I don't do milk, like, what are you talking about?"
Which is true, but also I would say most places you go now would have a vegan option, right?
Yes,
So maybe
truly.
he's going under that assumption, like they'll have something
Yeah.
even in 2014. So we have Alexander
And
Daddario
especially
playing.
on Sunset Boulevard too. They're, like, in that
Yeah,
area of LA, yeah. Uh-huh.
this is Olivia. So she has a horror themed ice cream shop called Ice Cream, and he is very excited because she has a Fruit Brute cereal, and they get in a discussion about Fruit Brute, and Evelyn can see the sparks between them and doesn't like it and has a little hissy fit. Which I have to say, if I was with somebody who had a hissy fit like this about something like this, I'd be like, nah, that's it. You're
Probably not
mad
gonna
because you
work.
think we were flirting when we're talking about something. Like, it's silly. And even if they were, okay, you can flirt. It's fine. You're not going to do anything about it. You're
But they're
with this
also
other
just talking
person.
about cereal. Like, it's like they're getting excited about, like, Count Chocula, essentially. Do you know what I mean, though? Like, they're, like, talking about all those, like, fun little monster cereals from back in the day because she's making all these ice creams that are, like, with those nostalgia flavors, which is also cool. I wanna go to this ice cream shop. I would
Totally.
absolutely eat there. It looks great. Reminds me of going, like, when I go to, like, Horror Vibes Coffee. Like, I, like, love a little theme and, like, love the little, the play on the words and all that stuff. It's very cute.
But they do say later in the film that this ice cream shop was on the corner of Melrose and Heliotrope, which is where
Oh,
Scoops used to be, which used to be one of my very favorite ice cream stores, which had really crazy flavors, and they changed every single day. So every time you went in, they were all different, and they had like a board on you could write
mhm.
down flavor suggestions and stuff. So I was like,
Aw.
it, R.I.P. Scoops.
Memories. So I'm sure it was, like, fashioned after that then too, it sounds like.
Mhm.
So, they, it doesn't go well, and they have a
Evelyn
big
calls
old
her a
row.
skank. I was like, "You went real far with that. Like, that is a you problem, not a her problem."
It was not great, and she really overreacts about this interaction, so much so that, they really just, kind of they had a big row. Um, Max is feeling it, and he's, like, feeling really upset and frustrated, so he's, reaches out to Travis, like, "What do I do, man?" Like, he's like, "Well, it sounds like you need to break up. Like, it sounds like you guys are, at a spot where maybe this was a bad idea for you guys to move in because it sounds like everything since you've moved in has been not great, you know? You guys are clashing in all kinds of ways, and she doesn't understand what you like. You don't really wanna do the things that she wants. Like, the only thing that they really have is they have really good sexual chemistry, and that's kind of what's kept them together, is basically, right? And so, and that I get that that happens sometimes where it's like we have nothing else really in common anymore, but we
Yeah.
still have fire in that type of way. So he
Well,
decides he's gonna call her up, and you know what? I wanna meet her, and we'll break up, but he doesn't
but
break up with her over the phone.
he's gotta go to work once more before that though, because there's
Mhm.
gotta be a disgruntled customer, you see, who
Oh
doesn't
my god, tell us
understand
about it. Yes. Oh my
he
god,
doesn't
tell me about the
understand
scene.
the,
Mhm.
"Go to hell" greeting, and my line, "Where do you get off?" Now, the reason that I'm in this film is that, when I worked at the New Beverly Cinema, Joe Dante had done a programming series, and he's an incredible person, and when he said he was going to be filming a scene at the New Beverly, I was like, "Oh, can I be an extra in the back of that scene in the theater?" And he's like, "I could do something better." And I was like, "Oh." So he gave me a line. I had a kid in it that
Mhm.
got cut out, so there was a little, like, thing about me and the kid, but the day on set was me talking with Anton Yelchin all day about movies, and I actually knew him a little from the New Beverly because he used to
Aw.
come there all the time,
Yeah.
and he always came for, like, the most hardcore of hardcore film nerd stuff, and he was no joke about it, so I had such a wonderful time just being there talking with him all day, and he was so nice. So it's
Aw.
nice to see that moment on film, and I go, "Oh, Anton."
That's a sweet memory and a sweet day. Rest in peace, Anton.
Yeah.
That's so sweet, Julia. I'm so glad you got to have that moment. And this is such a love letter to cinema, this movie as well, of course. So of course you're part of it because you are a living love letter to cinema. So that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
After he goes to that work that last time and has that beautiful scene with our dear Julia, um,
Thank you.
he makes a phone call to his lady, and she actually is like, "I'll be right there." Like, what do you mean? Like, she thinks the surprise is gonna be, like, maybe they're gonna propose or so I don't know. She seems like she doesn't seem on the same wavelength as he is, which is what's been the problem with them this whole time. So as she, meets up with him, she walks out of her car to cross the street to meet him in the park, and there is gonna be a bus that meets her first.
She's gonna get slammed real, real bad, and she's gonna die right there on the street, even though right before they're dying, like, she doesn't wanna die, she wants to be with them always and forever, and then she is dead, smushed on the street in front of Echo Park.
Yeah, and so he is basically she's in his arms essentially, and he's like, oh, he feels really guilty, but also, like, kind of relieved, I think a little, just in the smallest little part of the back of his
But
head,
probably guilt about that, guilt that you
Yeah,
would feel relief, right? Like, she only died because you asked her to come see you, and also she didn't know what you're about to say, and you know what you're about to say, so I'm sure that weighs on him as well. So I like the shout out the nice time passage shot of the plant, he has on his table dying, so we know how long he's just been sitting there watching
the
Ed
time
Wood,
lapse,
Bela
yeah,
Lugosi.
the
But
time lapse plant,
yep,
yeah.
it's time to go to a double feature at the New Beverly Cinema of Cat People and I Walked with a Zombie, and who is there but dear darling Olivia by herself.
She's hanging out. Ice Cream Girl is there, Olivia, and she, ends up talking with our dear Max, and he's a little, worse for wear. He's this is like his first venture out of the house, and so he's, a little bit standoffish. But she's like talking to him. She's like, "Oh, you just broke up. I understand. I just broke up recently too." She like tries to commiserate with him, and he's like, "Well, what happened to yours?" He's like, "Oh, she just moved on." Is what he says. He doesn't tell her what that she's dead because he can't bring himself to talk about it. But she talks about how her ex boyfriend, which I love, became a Christian and was like, "Sorry, I'm a born again now. Like, I can't do this anymore. So I don't, no drinking, no drunk, no anything for me." And he also is in a Christian rock band now called the Christian Slaters, which I just also thought was hilarious. And now I want to
Very
have
nice.
a fake Christian rock band, maybe called the Christian Slaters, because that's really really funny. Um, and so, she's trying to share stories with him. She's like, "You know what? What'll make you feel better? Let's go to my ice cream shop. Let's grab some ice cream." And so, he's like, "Yeah, okay, great." So they, go to the ice cream and they talk, but he keeps saying things like that are kind of really what happened, but not really. Like he's like, yeah, she's like, so what happened? Like she's like keeps talking about her ex. She's like, you know what? I don't want to keep talking about it. I know it's bad luck, but what did you do? And he's like, I kind of threw her under the bus. And she's like, okay, let's
Yep.
not talk about this anymore.
It's not. So she has an idea. She's incredibly, adorably awkward and quirky, and has an idea. Doesn't want him to think he's weird, but let's. She's up for a surprise. So she takes him to walk around the Hollywood Forever Cemetery at night. Now, this is the most beautiful cemetery in my opinion in LA, and I love it very much. But I have to say that she was talking to him, and she's like, who's buried here, and talks about everyone who's buried there, Johnny Ramone and all this stuff. And then I got chills, actual goosebumps on my arms because I was like, oh, he's buried there. He's buried just steps away from where Johnny Ramone is, and he didn't know it. And he had that scene, and it made me go, "Oh, that's harsh. That's that's real intense."
Wow.
I was like, "Yep, okay." So
That's
every
kind
time
of
I
weird,
go,
weirdly meta now too. That's
it's
so weird.
yeah,
Well,
he's
rest in
really
peace,
just
Anton again. Oh my
I know. And
god.
every time I go to there, I say hi to him. He's right there by Johnny, and I go, "Okay." So wow, this
Oh,
movie became a whole different thing watching
the
it this time.
layers, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know sometimes yeah, you don't know how it's gonna turn out later. Um, but they have a really cute moment in there where she does like the Night of the Living Dead, like they're coming to get you, Barbara kind of vibes to him. And like they have a cute little like it's very sweet. You can tell they both love the macabre in a very similar way, and they're really hitting it off really nicely. But you know who else is also buried in this cemetery is his ex-girlfriend. Evelyn is also buried here. And so all of a sudden after they walk by, it's like something was ignited because he was close enough to it that she is going to crawl out of the grave at this time because he's just right there. But not before Olivia and Max make out, like over near there. And they make out on the stoops of his house, and basically invites her in. But then he's like, no, 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 we should wait. She stops him, and so he's like, oh, okay, I'll wait. Um, she leaves, and in the meantime, she's back. Evelyn is back and she is at the house and she's looking real worse for wear because she is decomposed a bit.
Mhm.
But she says, our love has a second chance now. I'm back. And he is freaking out, thinking like he's seeing things
He's
as he
like,
opens
"It's
the door. Yeah.
the effects of Shroomin on Mr. Toad's Wild Wild." I'm like, "Yep, yep." But she's also really, really randy and thinks they're in love, and like the love will conquer death. And he is repulsed and trying to not show her how he's repulsed, and also mind bending because here's a person that's dead come back to life. And he's like, "Why don't you go take a shower?" So
Hmm.
while she does, there's a knock on the door, and there's Olivia being like, "You know what? Let's just, why wait? Let's just, you're an adult, I'm an adult. What do you say?" And he has to
Hmm.
rebuff her because he cannot let her in the apartment. And the shot of uh, her puking embalming fluid into his face. Wow, wow.
Well, did you watch the post credit? Because they showed the outtake. Uh,
No, I didn't. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's the very end of the credits. They showed them shooting that scene. And it's really funny because you see the guy holding the hose. And Anton's like, "Mm," like after he's like, I really almost fucking puked. It's so cute. Like, anyway, if you watch the movie again or just fast forward, go to that. It's the outtake at the very end. It's the post credit scene. They actually show you them filming that because that's how much you thought about it already.
Yep.
It's one of the scenes that really affects you. She also first she falls and breaks her neck while she's hanging out in the house and like pops her neck back and then pukes. So there's like a little body gross horror and then this like embalming fluid. And he's like, yeah, I don't really want to make out with you now. And she's like, ooh, embalming fluid. She like is so nonchalant about it, but he is truly repulsed by it. He wakes up thinking it was a nightmare in the morning, but he turns over in his bed and she is there in the bed. She's not hungry, but she does wanna have a quickie with him, like, she's acting like they did before, like, she wants to, like, have a quickie with him before he goes to work. He's like, "No, no, no, I don't want you deserve more than a quickie. You're back from the dead. I shall go to work, and we will table this for later." Um, so he finds a book at work, ridding the undead, and he tries to make a recipe when he gets home from the book to try to, like, get her to be dead again and
Because he
leave him
also
alone.
broke the Satan genie. It fell off the place and smashed. So now
Yeah.
he can't go back and like ask it to take it back because it's gone now.
But it's also a Satan genie, and it might not take it back anyway because it's a
No.
Satan genie. It probably
Yeah.
won't. Probably not today, Satan.
Ah, she got it on, they got it on the shirt.
Yeah, I got on a Maybe Today Satan shirt. Anyway, Julie and I both did theme sweatshirts today. We didn't we, without calling each other. We were like, "Oh, I guess we're wearing our fun like gothy sweatshirts today." She's
Yeah.
got a Ouija board sweatshirt on today. It was super great, a little spirit board. So they end up going out dancing. He's like, "You know what? Let me get you out. Let's like have a night out." So he's gonna try to get her drunk so that she can pass out because he does not want to have to deal with this anymore. So he gets her to the goth club, and she gets complimented by the girls at the goth club because her makeup looks so good, and he's like, "No." They're like, "What does she use? Does she have a makeup artist?" He's like, "Oh, no, it's natural. She's actually did."
Mhm.
Um, and so he gets her drunk on some absinthe,
If you
which
drank
just
3 double shots of absinthe, you would die. I can't even imagine.
in,
That is
like,
one of the
2 minutes.
strongest yeah, but it's also he's not diluting those. Those are just
Mm-mm.
straight shots of absinthe, which is
Yeah,
bonkers. You would be in a terrible shape, as she ends up being in a terrible shape in a matter of minutes.
yeah.
And he has to hold her hair while she pukes in
In the
the
alleyway
alley.
right outside, yeah.
And guess who shows up right at that moment? Olivia.
And her friends, a couple of her friends, and they rib her too. They're like, "Oh, is this the guy you've been talking about?" And he's like, she's like, Stop embarrassing me, friends. Stop embarrassing me." And so he makes this cute little dad joke here. What's he say to them? Like, "Oh, you don't want to go in there. It's dead in there." Ha ha ha. Get it? It's the goth
It's
club.
that
Anyway.
club death. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So they end up Travis when he shows up at the house because she has told him what is going on. He's asking for Travis's help, but when he finally shows up, she is passed out on the floor, and so he thinks she's really just dead, and he's dug her up. But then when she moves, he screams and soils himself at
Yeah,
the
he
same
shits
time.
his pants. Because Travis likes to use the apartment, to hook up with ladies because he lives in, like, a garage. So, he's, a perfect half brother. And
Hey,
so
I
he
know somebody who used to live in a cave, and they brought ladies back to the cave. So
the cave is different than a garage.
it's like a stable that he lives in more than a garage. I feel like it looks like a horse stable with like the half door things.
It's a
And
shed. It's like someone's garage shed in the back. Anyway, he lives in a place that's probably not the best place to bring back the ladies, but,
nope.
so he freaks out and is like, "Man, like, we gotta figure out what to do with her." Um And so, Max is at work the next day and he gets a visit from sweet Olivia bringing him some hangover food to make him feel better because she saw him at the thing. She's like, I figured you might need this today. This is the best cure I know. Here you go. It's pretty cute,
Who didn't want somebody bringing them cheeseburgers at work? That's so nice.
right?
But while she's in the shop, Evelyn calls, and while she's peeling her skin off of her face, and so she is goading him to say "I love you" over the phone. So when he does, now Olivia is like, "Okay, clearly you have some other situation going on, so I'm going to step out because I don't can't do this for very much longer. But I'm going to be tomorrow night of Living Dead at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. If you want to come, that's the sign. If you don't, nice knowing you." And then out she goes.
Yeah, and it's that awkward moment too where she's like, I already just did this with my last boyfriend. I don't really want to like deal with this kind of drama. Like if you're gonna be drama free, we're gonna be cool. But he can't really tell her that his girlfriend is a zombie, is back from the dead.
Mhm.
Um, so he wants to kill her, and Travis is like, we gotta kill her. Like, we gotta re-kill your dead girlfriend again to get her out of here. Um, and he's and Max is like, "I don't think I can do it." So, but Travis is like, "You know what? I'll help." So, he's gonna, like, try to distract her, and do what he can to, like, help his friend because, Max is like, "I'm gonna go meet Olivia at this night of living because I really do like her." So, he's like, "You know what?" Travis is like, "I'll kill her then." So, he brings a machete, he, like, does a whole ruse where he's like comes over, says he's looking for a video that he needs, and lures her in. He's like, it's his like one of his dirty videos that he's like, "Oh, Max has had this thing forever. I need it. I'm about to go on a trip, but I'm going to need it." And she's like, "Please leave the house." Like, she's so annoyed with him. So they have a moment. They struggle. It's not looking good.
Well, the tape that he happens to put on is a video of a guy with his head getting smushed and brains pouring out, and it suddenly makes her very, very hungry. She hasn't been hungry this whole time, but now she's starving, and so she's going to chomp on his brains because they are right there. So he said that he got it, but he didn't have it, and so now he's going to. Yes, and so Olivia meets him right by Johnny Ramone's graves, and again, I'm like, Anton's grave is steps away. It's like if you walk 30 seconds to your right. It's so
That's crazy. Did he know did he like buy that plot? I don't know. Anyway, morbid thoughts. Anyway, so So they have a great night at the cemetery, enjoying, probably a little night at Cinespia, enjoying the movie. In the meantime, Travis and her had this, or he's still trying to fight, even though she tried to bite his head, and he tries to get the machete, but he misses, and she ends up killing him. And so, Max and Olivia end up hooking up in her sweet station wagon. And I love, this is a Joe Dante thing, I guess, too, because I was like, in the Burbs, just like that we covered last week, there was a station wagon as well that Carrie Fisher drove in. And I was like, oh, ladies in station wagons. Hot.
Hmm.
Little wood paneled station wagon vibes. All right. I see you, Joe Dante. I support it. It's a good car to hook up in. You got to push back all those seats. You got that
Yep.
whole back area. And so they hook up in her car. And he rides his little scooter home the next morning to go check and see. And she's like, "Oh, we can hang out." He's like, "No, no, I got to check on some stuff at my house." And so what he's gonna go check on it to see is Travis did his job and got rid of the girl, but he did not. He shows up and it's just Evelyn, and Travis is no more.
Travis is rolled up in the plastic that he had bought for her death, and he is all munched up, and now he is very, very unhappy. So he's finally going to actually like give her what for, because this is it's too much. What is he going to do?
Hmm.
And so now and then but see, he still wants out. He's like, I gotta go, gotta go, gotta. It's like really busy. Gotta go.
Well, he sees flies, like, buzzing around her head, like, it's
Yeah,
like she's, like, decaying even more now too, like, it's like she just is looking worse and worse and worse as the movie goes on, and worse for wear. And so Max tries calling the cops because he really, even though she's not who she used to be, she's still enough like herself where he feels guilty, like, he doesn't wanna have to kill her again.
right.
So tries calling cops. Of course, this is where we get a fun little cameo because the cops don't believe him, of course, over the phone, so he goes down to the station, and then we're gonna get our sweet little Dick Miller, um, sweet cameo as the cop. And yeah, yeah, it's super
So we
cute.
love us some Dick Miller always. And if the podcast network that I do JodoWOWsky with do some other podcasts, including one that's all about Dick Miller. So if you would
Oh,
like
I
to
need to
hear,
listen to that.
that's how I met those guys. I was on an episode about After Hours and Dick Miller, and so there we go. And
Of
they
course
also
you
have one
were.
about Carol Kane and Powerball Tell and all these really cool people.
All of our
So
favorite character actors, all the people that we
yeah,
love. So yeah, so Evelyn shows up at Olivia's work, because she's pissed because she's like, "You're the reason he has been out and about and not wanting to commit back to me."
she saw a text message that she wasn't supposed to see, and now she is out for death.
Yeah, so she goes to the ice cream counter, she goes to her ice cream shop and fights her. In the meantime, Max, and Olivia are gonna get to have a final battle with our dear Evelyn when they get back to their place. So Evelyn vows to kill them both now. But while they're in the apartment, Travis, who's been rolled up in the plastic, is now zombified and he's waking up. And he's got the machete that he had our checkhouse machete from earlier gets back into play, and Travis has it. Um, I mean, now we gotta have a knockdown drag out between Olivia and Evelyn and Max and Travis. They all are good trying to get Evelyn dead again.
And they do. They eventually are able. The machete works. Travis takes her down, and they are going to roll her up in the runner. That has been the set joke the whole time. The green runner that you were not supposed to mess up.
Hmm.
She's gonna be buried in that. So and as a good person, you got her Olivia helping to bury her, which is really nice.
Hey, if someone's willing to bury a body with you, that's your girl, you know?
Seriously,
So, they put her in the grave, and then they get out of there, and, we flash forward to the ice cream shop later on, is now teamed up with Max's Scare Shack, and they've combined their forces together to make the crematorium, because it's ice cream and spooky shop together, which is super cute.
it
And
is.
they also have a guy out there spinning signs who looks like a zombie. It's because it is a zombie. It's Travis, as their sign spinner outside for Max and Olivia's crematorium, and he's trying to still hit on ladies. You ever hook up with a zombie? He's doing his back to his old ways, trying to pick up on all the ladies that ever walk by him.
So how do you survive this movie?
Oof. Well, be careful who you make wishes next to, and if there's a weird little statue, you might want to beware.
But that's always the thing with it, right? Like you never are going to think that that thing is haunted when it's haunted. So how do you know when something's actually haunted?
It said, make a wish. I guess I don't know. I would.
Turn the key and see what happens.
And
We
it
got
wasn't
that
supposed
those
to. And that wasn't supposed to even be in the shop. Remember, he's like, we didn't order this.
Yeah. So where'd that come from? Who sent that? Satan himself? We'll never know.
Hmm.
Okay, some gore factor. 1 is not enough blood to fill a Dixie cup. 2 is a puddle of blood. 3 is enough blood to gross out the average viewer. 4 is the bathtub of blood. And 5 is run for the barf bag. It's a zombie movie. You know there's going to be a 5.
There's guts and brains. So
Yep.
yeah. And like people biting off heads. So yes, yes, yes. Definitely a 5. And then we got chainsaws. 1, if you're desperate. 2, barely qualifies as a horror film. 3, seen worse, seen better. 4, not too shabby. 5, fantasagorical. This is a 4.5 for me. I really enjoyed this movie. I love how weird it is. At first I was worried with like Travis's character. I was like, is this gonna be one of those like sexy teen I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this." But I really, once they got into the meat of it and like the relationship and like the dynamics of like meeting that person that vibes with you in a way that just changes the world for you, pretty
Hmm.
sweet.
Yeah, I give it 4.5 as well because it's like, you have so many things. You have all the horror stuff. I feel like Olivia is me in a way, like you, oh, I like horror ice cream and also the New Beverly, and also you like going to Cinespia and like all of these very, specific
Yes.
LA horror Julia things. And I was like, yeah, I relate to a lot of these things.
I know. When I watched it, I was like, yep, that's Julia. This is
Uh-huh.
us. Ice cream's my favorite food. So I felt that too. I was like, yep.
I would
Pretty
love to
great.
try some fruit brute ice cream, especially homemade. And at the end, she has her burying with berries, the X. Very cute, very cute. A lot of
Hmm.
really fun, witty dialogue. I feel like the characters are all having a good time. I feel like Anton's given such a fun, sweet, layered performance. And a Joe Dante never misses, right? Like he's always on board.
Clearly, again, like I said, it's a movie by people who love cinema, made for people who love cinema. That's what it is, and that's why this is a good egg. It's a goodie. Excellent. Well, if you guys if you've seen this film, let us know. If you have other films similar that are also love letters to cinema or anything in that vein that's also horror tinged, we'd love to know for your recommendations. We're always taking those in. We add them to our very long list, but we love to consider all of them. Hit us up. You can hit us up on all the internet things, Patreon. Support us that way. Get some merch on our Teespring store. Um, I think new merch coming soon, I think, Sue. So look out for that, hopefully. What else, Julia? Julia's on 2 other podcasts. Please check them out. One of them is the Losers Club, all about Stephen King, which I adore. And Julie, you guys go in, and this year you guys are doing like a bracket of like all of his work and stuff too. So you guys are going
Uh-huh.
in on rating and fighting, and I love you just throwing the curve because Julia's choices are always like different from most of the people on her show. So I can't wait to hear you defend your life on some of those some
I
of
am the
these
I
books.
am the I am the only person on that show that likes young early Bachman, and they're like spin me up, watch me go, and everybody goes, all right, they don't get it. And I go, that's okay, that's okay. It's not for
But
everybody.
the Bachman stuff anyway, the Bachman stuff is fun because it's super dark when you like super dark, so that
I
makes
do.
sense. So anyway, here go in down the rabbit hole on that, and then you can also hear talk about JodoWOWsky, Alejandro Jodorowsky on JodoWOWsky, all about his work, his comics, and everything. And I also love to shout out whenever I talk about Jodorowsky. Please check out his Instagram on Sundays. He puts 10 things every week that are like live your things like ways to live your life or just things to enrich yourself or thoughts to think on. They're always really good.
Mhm.
So I think if you're an artist or somebody who just considers art or philosophy in the world, like he's a great person's work to really, I think, dive into and really ask some big questions as well. And Julie,
Definitely.
also you have 2 other movies. Can you tell them about Out of Print having its 10-year anniversary this year?
I can, yes. That is a film that I made about the New Beverly and other revival cinemas. So it is streaming, and then also will be hopefully playing in some cinemas this year. And then I also have I Know What You Need, which is based on Stephen King's short story that is playing on Arrows Player, or you can message me if you'd like to see it because I like it. I think it's cool.
Is very groovy, very Julia, and very Stephen King. So that's all the things, all the things. You have a beautiful week, everybody. Yeah, be
Thanks for
safe
doing
out
this cool
there.
episode. I think it's fun. We've got to do an episode of a movie that I'm in. We got to do Delta Delta Die, if you haven't
Hmm.
checked that one out. And there might be,
December,
yep, December. So we have
where
some,
you're
I'm
also a
also
customer.
a disgruntled customer. Yes, I do it well. I do it well. I also have a kid and that got cut out in
Yep,
that one. So there you
yep.
go. Yeah. So maybe there'll be some more coming up this year that I'm in. Who knows?
Oh, there definitely will be. We got Grind going to South by
It's
Southwest and
true.
all kinds of stuff happening. So let's go.
It's all
Festival
happening.
run.
It's all
It's all
happening.
happening, Ma. Top of the world, Ma. All right, have a beautiful week. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Horror Movie Survival Guide is independently produced by Terry Gamble, Julia Marchesi, and Sierra Ryan. Hey, that's me. If you would like to support the show, find us on patreon.com/horror movie survival guide.